Hey there, everybody. Hey, everybody. Hi. Welcome to another episode of Clarity Age. My name is Vernon, and thank you for tuning in today. Whether you are watching this on recording, on YouTube, or on the Facebook platform, welcome one and all. Now, what is this program? Now, if you're tuning in for the first time, we are on Clarity Age, where I go online every Tuesday at 8 p.m. to share about pro tips for business development and growth. The objective is to help everybody achieve clarity through simplicity and ultimately profitability. Now, if you are indeed a first-time viewer, please do check out my Facebook private group, Clarity Age, where I randomly share stuff, as well as my YouTube channel where you can get access to previous episodes, right? So thank you all for taking the time to drop by. If you are tuning in, please do comment in the wherever platform you're in and let me know if you can indeed hear me. Okay, don't just like and comment is great. Okay, like is great, but do comment as well so that I can know the voice is going through. Trust me, running this on a single platform, sometimes there's nobody else to counter check for you. Thank you so much. Now, what are we going to talk about today? Today, we will be talking about negotiation, right? Now, what's the outline? Today, we will talk about negotiation, how all of life is a negotiation. We will be talking about the common newbie mistakes when it comes to negotiation, the negotiator perspective, and pro tips when it comes to negotiation. Now, personally, I wouldn't consider myself an expert on negotiation. I am just like you, trying to make my way around. Now, ever since I came out on my own, because I haven't really gotten my own job, never had to do any professional negotiation, I had to work my way around all of this and figure out how exactly to do this negotiation thing. Now, naturally, I made a lot of mistakes, did a lot of things wrongly, got into some trouble myself, ended up being exploited in various aspects. Now, if you want to understand what I mean by exploitation, again, YouTube channel, do check out the topic of what is value. A quick 5-minute video, and you can understand a little bit of what I am referring to when it comes to value creation. Now, negotiation. What it is, how does it work, and why do I think all of life is in some way a negotiation? I really like this bottle. It makes me feel like I'm drinking a mana potion. So what is negotiation? Dun, dun, dun. What is negotiation? Now, how would you understand negotiation? I'd love to hear your comments. If you happen to be viewing this, do type in the box what you think negotiation is. Different ways, many ways of understanding. You can, of course, Google it, and they will give you a definition that you know, like with most definitions we see out there, it might not be immediately useful to you and me to understand, right? So what is negotiation? How do we understand it? Okay, how I understand negotiation. Okay, this is a Google definition, right? The process of discussing something with someone in order to reach an agreement with them or the discussions themselves. That means come to an agreement with either the person or come to an agreement regarding the discussion, the point of the topic, right? Now, I personally feel all of life is a negotiation. Now, why do I say that? Now, because in my opinion, the only scenario where you will be in where you don't need to do a negotiation is life is so smooth and you get exactly everything that you want. Even a little baby, a child, has to do some kind of negotiation with their parents when they ask him or her to eat rice or eat her vegetables or whatever. There must be some negotiation. So basically, as long as you need to move around, okay, and you have other people with their agenda and their objectives, and you have your agenda and you have your agenda and your objective, and they're not 100% perfectly aligned. They need that you need to negotiate at some point. So obviously, if you follow that kind of definition, you and I are negotiating all the time, everywhere. Okay, so all our life, in negotiation is a very important skill that we all need to have, right? So we understand, right? Negotiation is basically getting people to come to an agreement. Now, if you read the book by, wait, let me see, where do I have the book with me here? Yes, right. I really recommend this book. Okay, this book, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Okay, I actually did a book club with one of my clients, and he actually went on to do a lot of good deals after we hang out together and cover this book. If you read the description, it's done by a former FBI hostage negotiator. Now, let me just sell this book a little bit, all right? Now, this book is by Chris Voss. Now, he is an FBI negotiator. Now, he's always activated and called in whenever obviously when they're hostages, right? So imagine you go into a hostage environment situation and the guy has 10 hostages and he's asking for $10 million, right? So you obviously want to make it as low as possible. Then you said, okay, how about this? Okay, I give you 5 million, you give me 5 hostages, everybody's happy, you get something, I get something, let's work out of this beautifully. Now, obviously, that's not going to work out, right? So you tell him, okay, I'm not going to give you $10 million, I'm going to give you $5 million. Then the guy tell you, you know what, I'm going to give you 5 hostages for $5 million. Say, okay, you know what, let's just split the difference. The difference is the balance 5 million. I will just give you, we just put it at 7 and I give you 7 hostages. That's not going to work out because he has no need for hostages after the money gets transacted and you release them anyway, right? So obviously, as a hostage negotiator, he cannot negotiate in that context, right? And take away some and leave some hostages behind. He got to walk out of the room with all 10 hostages and hopefully not pay $1 in the terrorists, kidnappers. I mean, give even $1 to the kidnapper. Now you think about it, right? Imagine if you and your wife, your girlfriend going out, and then your wife go and say, you know what, I want you to wear brown shoes, and you want to wear black shoes, and the conclusion is you will wear one side brown, one side black. Is that a good outcome? Absolutely not. That's not a good outcome. So that's what the guy is trying to say. What he's trying to say is that when you try to split the difference, which is what most of us do when we come to negotiate, right? We always think that splitting the difference is a good way of handling our negotiation, splitting the difference. Now, according to him, splitting the difference is the worst. It's the worst possible way to do negotiation. Not only is it very, very predictable, it is very prone to manipulation and corruption. What does it mean? It means that the person will just, instead of asking for 10 million, he will ask for 20 million and you will just low blow him down to 5 million. Sorry, not low blow, low ball him down to 5 million. And then you start negotiating. Then eventually you end up splitting $10 million and he walked with 10 hostages and you think you got a good deal. Answer is, it is not a good deal. All right. So very good book. Okay, if you don't have to listen to my whole talk, right? Just go and borrow this book, PDF it, download it, audible it, whatever. Just get a hold of this book. Nobody should be in a negotiation environment without reading this book. Now, if you happen to have masterclass on your phone, all right, you can also get masterclass on this book as well. So really meaningful, good use of your time because you will be negotiating all your life. Very, very good to get the book. All right. So let me just share a little bit about negotiation. Why I say all life is a negotiation. Firstly, negotiation requires some basic fundamentals. Okay. Because you can't really negotiate if you do not know what the other party wants or what they really want. Now, you might think that let's look at a terrorist, for example, or the kidnapper who happened to kidnap some hostages. What do you think he wants? He wants $10 million, right? Actually, no. He wants to be able to walk out of there with money, hopefully $10 million. Okay, you must understand, okay, in a hostage situation, Now the terrorist needs to be able to walk out of there and survive with the money. You can just give him $10 million, and then surround the place. The more he walk out, you shoot him. Or you booby shot the money, the moment he opens the bag, the thing blows up in his face and he just dies. Or whatever, right? So you need to understand that the terrorists don't just want the money. In that case, he wants the money and be able to walk out of there with the money, or drive out of there or whatever, and be able to spend that money. So it's a joke, right? The terrorists or the kidnapper don't just want the money, he wants to be able to spend all of the money in his lifetime and hopefully be alive for as long as possible. So in order to do that, you need to know what he is actually looking out for. So at this point of time, I want to introduce three layers of listening that I call. First, listening. Just like, it means, can you hear me? Like just listen, hear. You don't actually understand what the guy is saying. Right? The other one is active listening. Now, active listening is listening while not waiting for your turn to speak. You're listening because you really want to listen deeply and understand where they're coming from. So that means, for example, if you're listening to somebody and the person uses a word you might not be familiar with, then you say, hey, what's that word? Hey, what's that? That's called. Then you ask, hey, what do you mean by ERF? What do you mean by ARF? What do you mean by it will be built together, right? So you ask, you listen to it, you're not really sure what it means, you're not willing to make an assumption, you want to be safe, you want to be professional, you ask the question, what are you talking about? The next is my personal favorite type of listening. I know my friends who are tuning in right now might not agree with me, but the other kind of listening that I watch out for is called listening to silence. Now, what does that mean? Listening to silence is listening to what the guy is not saying, right? So obviously, when you're engaging in active listening, you are asking them questions whenever there is a word, a concept, or an idea that you want to know what it means, right? So you ask them questions, right? Then they will give you an answer. So for example, you ask them a question like, how old are you? Then the guy says, old enough to be your father. That's not really an answer per se, but you are actually listening to what he's not saying. He doesn't want to reveal his age. My favorite line recently, I got it when talking to a business owner, right? He says, whether or not everybody agrees with you, what he's actually saying is that he doesn't agree with me. But of course, he says it differently. He says, well, whether or not everybody thinks like you, what he's saying is that, well, I don't agree with everything you have just said. Okay, so that's the concept of listening to silence, right? Listen to what they do not say, listen to what they do not reveal, keep a lookout, think about the things they're not saying, right? So that's called active listening. That's called listening to silence. The next thing you must know when it comes to negotiation, something many people don't really think about is they want to win, right? So you go into negotiation, you want to win, but they don't want to win together. Now, my suggestion when it comes to negotiation is you must know what they want. Then tap on as much resources as possible to prepare to win together and to win tomorrow together. Because you see, we live in a small place, right? Singapore is a small place, small world. I'm sure you know many people say Singapore is in a small place. You know me, I know you. We got friends that know each other. We got friends that like each other, and we got friends that don't like each other, or they collectively don't like you or me. So something that people don't really consider when it comes to negotiation is that they think that the deal or the arrangement that they're doing right now is the only one they're doing for the rest of their life with this particular individual. Don't forget, today you might win a negotiation with him, whether it's a business deal, a contract, or an opportunity, and you are in a position of power, and you get to whack him and make all the deals to favor you. But what you might not realize is that tomorrow you might be in a position where you need their help. You know what I mean? This is a story. I had a friend who was renting or selling a place, I can't remember. Then he happened to meet this property agent on the opposite side, right? So this property agent is defending the other guy, the other party. Now, this property agent did such a good job negotiating with him. He said, you know what, I'm going to hire this lady to negotiate for my other deals. Okay, that's an example of good negotiation, right? Like you impress people so much with a negotiation technique that they say that not only do you do the good negotiation, you are also very ethical in the way you negotiate, and you're very fair and you're very honest about the way you're doing it. So yeah, that's an example of good negotiation skills. Okay. Oh, something happened. I can't believe this, man. I actually accidentally pressed the escape button. Let me just reload up my page. See, technology, you see. You don't just love technology. All right, so we are back. All right, active listening. Next, next point. When there are people, when there's greed, when there are resources, there will always be negotiation. Now, if you're alone, then the only person you need to hustle and tussle with is yourself, right? But if you happen to be in a community and other people want more than what they deserve, or they have particular agenda and objectives, for sure, you need to negotiate. All right, so understand this, guys. Negotiation is all about coming to consensus, aligning resources, aligning objectives, having some compromise. For sure, one of you need to compromise. Your job is to make sure that when they compromise, it's worth their while to make that compromise. Why do I negotiate this way? Very simple, ladies and gentlemen. I negotiate this way because one day I think, I know, I feel, I assume that I will be in a position where I need your help, your favor, and your goodwill. So even though you're on the opposite negotiation table, opposite from me, I don't do it in such a way that even though I'm in a position of power, I don't do it in a way that I just completely smash the other party, right? So don't, even if you're in a position of power, guys, don't smash them during negotiation. Like, do it honorably, because always assume that it's a tomorrow. It's the same for business, yeah. I mean, this month has been a quite crazy month, and there have been some business deals and opportunities and relationships that I've watched around me deteriorate to some extent. Now, I always say this, right, to my friends. I said, hey, doesn't matter what arrangement we do together, what business we do together, what project we do together. What matters is that tomorrow you and I get to sit down and have lunch, and we will have a good lunch together, even we come out of not a particular ideal situation. Because you see, right, entrepreneurs, business owners, whatever, I mean, we have our own agenda and our objective to push forward, right? But the fact of the matter is that we don't represent ourselves. We represent our company, we represent our clients, we represent our stakeholders, our employees. We have agenda. We are following a mandate. We have committed to a particular mandate. We have some fiscal responsibility to the community, the company, or the group that we are with. That doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person for representing your side. But what makes a difference is that we can do it in an honorable manner. Even competitors have a healthy respect for each other. There was this joke, and this guy said, he said, the purpose of war is to make the other guy die for his country. I don't necessarily agree with that, even though some people might think that life is all war, but I kind of think that it's more like a community trying to create more opportunities for everybody else. Now, obviously, the mindset of the negotiation is very important. We cover that a little bit later in today's presentation. So let's talk about some common mistakes when it comes to negotiation. And I always crack this joke about this story. This story is called the 4 cars and 3 parking lot story. Now, everybody, I mean, of course, negotiation, definitely business negotiation, project deals, contracts, and stuff like that, it's definitely tough negotiation. But on a daily basis, when we interact with our friends, our colleagues, and our compatriots, we might not think that it's negotiation, but hey, you always need negotiation. When there are 4 cars and 3 parking lots, you will need to have some negotiation. That means what I'm saying is that when there are constraints, when there are limitations, right? I was just listening to a talk over the weekend, this particular individual who is very gifted in negotiation and very gifted in rhetoric. He says that never appeal to higher values, always appeal to people's self-interest. I mean, that is one perspective. I might not say I fully agree with that perspective. I think there's value in that perspective, but not every case, I feel, works out that way. I mean, some people, such arrangement, we will never unlock the very best people, right? You unlock the desperate, you unlock the people who need the opportunity, you unlock the greed in people. You know, I'm not sure I really agree with that. Yeah, but understand this, okay, guys. 4 cars and 3 parking lots. When there are constraints, there will be negotiation. So when you do your negotiation, make sure you do this. Make sure you always, okay, this is all right. So make sure you do this, right? Negotiation basically is the art of finding a path where all parties win. Now, definitely the trick here is to define what do you mean by win. Okay, now if you let the kidnapper walk away with $100,000, return all the customer, return all the hostage, walk away with $100,000, he get to walk off and spend that money. What do you think? You think that's okay? I think that's okay too. That's still a win, right? Yes, sure, we lost $100,000, but hey, we got back the customers and without dying, right? Hey, hi Davis. Thanks for dropping by this Tuesday evening. All right, so this is my definition of negotiation, guys. The art of finding a path where all parties win. Now this is not always possible, but this is the direction that I take. Now the angle that I use is that I redefine what it means to win, and I make sure that everybody has a better tomorrow together. A better tomorrow together. That sounds like a nice tagline, right? All right, here are some common newbie mistakes when it comes to negotiation. Right, I mentioned just now, splitting the difference. Okay, next one is negotiate like there is no tomorrow. Okay, that is very noob mistake, right? That means you negotiate so hard, so aggressively, so tough that the other person, the next time they say, oh, Vernon is the one that's going to negotiate deal with me. No, I don't talk to Vernon. I don't want to talk to Vernon. No, Vernon. Now, this situation is not ideal, right? Because in the future, if you do your negotiation very aggressively or too, okay, that's very simple, right? Let's just use the hostage example. You give the guy $10 million, which is what he wants. The moment he walks out, you shoot him. You collect back your $10 million. Yeah, you got your hostages back and you get your $10 million back. Guess what? The next time there's a hostage situation, you are the negotiator. They're not going to negotiate with you. The market of negotiation is completely spoiled. Nobody even want to talk to you. You don't even get a chance to come to the table and have a seat at the table to even have the negotiation, because you are known to too many people as complete assholes, right? So bad idea. Next, challenging their reality. Now, what does that mean? Okay, when you challenge their reality as a negotiator, you tell them, no. Vernon, I feel that I am being oppressed by staying here in this organization. Oppressed? Where God? Just some friendly banter, that's all. You are challenging their reality, okay? They are saying something, you are saying that it's totally not that thing. Not fair to say that, not reasonable to say that as well. It's called challenging their reality. Don't challenge their reality, because nobody wants to be wrong. Especially the kidnapper, when they are negotiating, don't want to be wrong. So if you negotiate a deal with your client says that, hey, I want the products delivered by tomorrow. You say, are you crazy? Only idiots will make such a ridiculous comment. So you challenge their reality and you toss in an insult there as well. Not recommended to insult them or challenge their reality. Always accept their reality as complete truth and fact for them. All right. So yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say, right? That means you don't challenge them, right? Accept their reality. Somebody came to me and said, hey, Vernon, I think this person, right, his service delivery is very poor. I said, where got poor? Normal or standard? No, you don't challenge them. You say, poor, why do you say that? Poor, why do you think so? How come you come to that conclusion? What was your past experience with similar vendors and similar service providers? So you must adopt a curious disposition when you come to negotiation. Don't go in with your own reality and try to impose your reality on other people. Nobody is interested. Next, breaking the silence. Now, again, in this book, there is an entire chapter on silence. I think, yeah, read this book a couple of times. Very, very good. The guy says is like whenever you must use the silence to become heavy on their side. That means you can ask them, say, hey, what about $2 million? Then the guy will be like, 2 million? Yeah. So you just wait. Let the silence, right, help them think. Because sometimes when you talk too fast, right, the guy is so stressed, he gets it. Because when the guy is overwhelmed, right, they always adopt a status quo. They have a reserve position. They'll just drop anchor on a reserve position because they don't understand what you're trying to say. They don't have enough time to process the information that you're giving to them. So don't break the silence. Let them have the silence, right? So the silence can grow heavy in them, and their mental processes can just go through and turn that kind of situation, turn the whole scenario in their mind. Okay? So newbie mistakes. Don't always go in and say, okay lah, you want I want 5,000, you want 10,000, okay lah, 7.5 lah, halfway, let's just go and make sweet. This is very noob. Please don't do that. Okay, next, negotiate. Tomorrow, whack them. Use all your weapons to whack them, so that the next time they meet you, they don't want to talk to you. That's not good. Challenge their reality. Tell them they are wrong. Tell them that what they're thinking is mad. No such thing. Insult them. Don't do that. And breaking the silence. When it's time for silence, let them break the silence. When they break the silence, it means that they want something from you, and therefore you can, from that position, take something forward. Okay, the negotiator's perspective. Okay, this is the perspective that I use when I negotiate. Now, you don't have to use this. You might think that my negotiation perspective is shit, very childish, very naive, whatever, right? But this is the way my perspective is when I negotiate. Step one, I always go into a room, right, when it comes to negotiation, I always assume that I cannot win without them. I need them to win. I need them to win with me. I'm not here to take everything from them so that they will never pick up my phone again. No, I'm here to figure out a way how they can win together with me, right? That's called a negotiation perspective, okay? Now, obviously, if you are stuck in a hard place, a bad negotiation, the fault's yours lah, bro. Why do you sit down on a table that you can't stand up and walk away? The very fact that you have put your life saving inside this project, and then you get all sorts of twisted because now you must make this deal work. Then I must say that the problem lies with you going in at that kind of deal. Never sit down at a table that you can't stand up and walk away from. Okay, that is a big no. All right. Next, okay. Understand that there is a tomorrow. Okay, there is always another better opportunity. There's always another better deal. Do not compromise your values today just to get this deal, because after a while, people realize that you have a price. Okay, this is very, very common. Many people, sometimes or very often actually, I get a lot of very strange and weird value propositions. Very financially lucrative, but integrity-wise issue, values-wise issue. So I never pick up that deal, because tomorrow there will always be a better deal tomorrow. But if you bite the bullet today, guess what? Everybody now knows your price is this amount. Whether it's 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 100,000, or $1 million, or even $10 million, everybody will know the price it takes to buy you over. And please understand, when it comes to money, money is printed. Okay, so when it comes to money and you have a price, you're finished. Your value proposition is gone. The next point is a point that I brought up just now. It's something that's very, very, I'm very passionate about this point. I make sure I always say this. Never sit down if you cannot stand up and walk. All right, do not enter into a negotiation if you cannot walk away from it. Now, obviously, this is noob, amateur kind of negotiation, because the FBI negotiator is invited to sit down to negotiate and get the hostages out. He don't have a choice of walking away. It is his job. All right, but you and I'm very sure are not in that situation. Okay. Now, next point. Okay, understand this. Okay, when it comes to negotiate, it's not poker. Okay, it is a marriage. Okay, that means you're not here to bluff the guy. Obviously, in a negotiation scenario, you have an opportunity to lie to the person, manipulate the person, and call do a bluff. Like the gamble, when you bluff a person, it's gamble, right? Like for the Japanese, they lost the war because of the new nuclear bombs, right? That dropped on Japan. They threatened to drop more bombs, but they had no more nuclear bombs at that point of time. If my memory serves me right, don't quote me, okay? So it was like a gamble, right? So if you call it negotiation, I would say. Now, obviously, it turned out well in a way, well in the sense the war was ended. But rules of negotiation not so nice, right? Because if eventually this thing comes out, the next time you're on the table, your words have no credibility and people don't want to play with you. I mean, I always say that whatever business you do, whatever deals that you make, whatever opportunity you come across, after you do it, you must make sure that whether the project is good or not good, happen or happen, you must still be able to sit down as friends, have a meal, shake hands, and be good, right? If you want to do business in such a way that you don't care about how they think of you, don't care about your reputation or whatever, then you're not in a sustainable situation. Well, I don't know, highlight another book. Hold on a sec. Well, I think the book's not here. There's this book called Integrity Selling. Do check out my Instagram page. In my Instagram page, there is a description. In the description, there is a book list. In the book list, there is a book called The Integrity Selling. The person mentioned this. He said that, do you want to sell things or do you want as a career as a salesman? Do you want to sell things or do you want a career as a salesman? Now, if you want a career as a salesman, then you shouldn't lie, cheat, and steal, and you shouldn't be telling lies to close deals. Now, if you tell lies to close deals or you are not representing yourself well, guess what? That is the countdown to your last negotiation. Very soon, nobody will sit down and talk any deals with you, and your words mean nothing. When you make phone calls, nobody pick up. When you call for meetings, nobody will come. That's because your reputation has completely been destroyed because you are such a lousy negotiator. You manipulate your way through. You tell lies all the time. You win in the short term and you lose ultimately in the long term. Now, if you negotiate well and do it with integrity, what I have discovered was that after a while, you don't even need to negotiate. You just name a price, and they will look at your price as the best price and your personal value for yourself. That means if they want you, they want your service, they want your business, they want your expertise, they will fork out that price, whatever that price is, right? Of course, it's not. I mean, I heard this word before, and I really dislike it. It's called hustling. People say, hey, just go and hustle lah, take something for that's worth $10, sell it for $1,000. That's called good. That's called successful. That's called good hustler. I say, yeah. As far as I'm concerned, you're just cheating people. You're taking something worth $10, sell it for $1,000, and you call it like good value. I said there's no value. Again, please don't. Okay, marketers out there, please don't bust my ass about this. Okay. Yes. Okay. Some things are worth 10 cents and it's sold for $100. Okay, like I don't know, microchips or something. That's because there is value in the item, right? Not because it's cheap, right? Sometimes there is no value in it, and the value is completely manipulated based on lies completely, and then you push it out there. So it's not good negotiation. It's not called smart. I always think of it as this: you either is long-term smart, short-term stupid. Okay, not everything short-term is stupid, and not everything long-term is smart. But then again, you need to make a decision, right? So basically, whatever you do, understand that you're building your reputation. Not everybody will like you. Not everybody will love you, but your focus should be on building a good reputation as a salesman or a negotiator in business. All right. Don't people say, hey, he's very crafty. This guy is not simple. You make people afraid to talk to you if you have that kind of reputation. Then you deny yourself opportunity. You don't enhance your opportunity if you talk like that. Your opportunity, you get less opportunity. Okay. All right. So here are some pro tips that I would like to share with you when it comes to negotiation. First one, talking is shooting and listening is collecting bullets, right? So in negotiation, it's very important to know what other people want. In order to know what other people want, you need to do active listening as well as listening to their silence. You need to collect bullets. You need to collect your ammunition so that you can use it to open a new path where both parties can win. Listening is is a primary skill in negotiation. Interesting, right? Negotiation is a verbal thing, and the most important thing when it comes to a verbal thing is the not talking part. Okay, next point. Okay, focus on high value and low cost exchanges. For example, if you want to negotiate with somebody, right, you say, hey, you know what, I can't give you $10 million. Okay, what I can do is I give you a helicopter ride out of the place. So a helicopter ride is going to be less than $5 million, right? So you give him a $5 million discount, I give you a helicopter for if you drop the price by $5 million. So at the moment, for the guy that's a kidnapper or whatever, the helicopter is pretty valuable. So that's the point of negotiation. Always try to exchange something that's of high perceived value and low cost. So for example, if you're doing a project with a magazine or an influencer or whatever, or some media people, instead of saying that, hey, can you drop your price by $10,000? I said, sure, I can drop it by $10,000, but you must give me $50,000 of press coverage, around your cover page or your advertisement or whatever. So the price it costs them to do the printing of the cover page and all this kind of stuff is like nothing for them. But I'm willing to swap it with them because to me it's high value to be on the magazine cover or whatever. Okay, it's mentioned in the book, by the way. Go read it. So that's the concept of that's the concept of focus on high value and low cost exchanges. Offer them something is extremely high perceived value for them and low cost for you. Just look at all these celebrities doing this, like all these celebrities, like, I have a photo opportunity with a celebrity, or have a dinner with a celebrity, or watch a movie with the celebrity that the celebrity is acting in. You get to sit next to Tom Cruise as you're watching the next Mission Impossible, right? So that costs nothing in a way, but yet it's high perceived value. So definitely worth the negotiation, right? Okay, next, redefine what it means to win. Now, help them redefine what it means to win. Right, so the guy said, I want $10 million. I kill all the hostages. Hey, do you want $10 million or do you want to be able to spend the money in your old age? That's more important, right? I can poison all the notes, right? So that after you take the money, the poison notes will just kill you, right? Then after, I'll just recover your body after a week. So all these are very bad. So understand this, redefine what it means to win. What it means to win for you, Mr. Kidnapper, is for you to take a little bit of money from us, some money from us, and to be able to walk away without me having to chase you and hunt you down and arrest you, right? That's what you want. You want to walk away with the money, not necessarily walk away with the whole $10 million, for example. Next, okay, remember that you want to have lunch with them later, all right? Make a deal, make an arrangement, treat them with respect, right? Make smart move, introduce new resources to change the dynamics. So for example, you want to make a deal with me about a project. I say, hey, I can't give you that discount, but if you're willing to pay me that price, I can give you an opportunity to VIP room with JJ Lin or whatever, because I happen to have the opportunity. So add in new dynamics to mix up the picture, right? So they say, hey, Vernon, I can't give you that kind of price, but but can you give me a $4,000 discount? I say, I can't give you a $4,000 discount, but I can give you something worth more than $4,000, something that's worth $50,000, in fact. Yeah, I get an opportunity for you to take picture with Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, for example, because I'll be at his event and he's looking to meet some people. I can put a good word in for you to be in that position. But you just make sure you just honor what you're supposed to pay me. So this is adding things in, high value, low cost things, change the dynamics of the situation so that everybody walk away winning more than what they thought they could win when they first sat down to talk to you. After a while, you realize everybody likes to negotiate with you because they seem to walk away with tremendously a lot of value, a lot of opportunity. Yeah. All right, with that, thank you very much for tuning in yet another episode of Clarity Edge. Next week, okay, I have a topic already picked for next week because I was just talking to this with this person I was coaching this morning. The topic that I'll be talking about is a fairly repeat topic, but worthwhile repeating in greater depth. This topic I'll be talking about is the difference between accountability and responsibility. All right, so tune in next week if you want to know the difference between accountability and responsibility and how we can use this concept to build stronger, more competent teams. And we will see how it goes. All right, thank you all so much. And I will see you all next week. Cheers.